camouflage and coffee on. I'm off the whole weekend and there's a cold front moving in. First thing I do when I climb my stand is bow my head and thank the man. And while I'm waiting on daybreak, I feel my heart race. Up here on Whitetail Ridge, we know how to hunt, we know how to fish. We love our country, we love this land, and we're proud to be free. From the ground we plow, the stands we hang, we believe a man should pull his weight. We know what real hunting really is. Up on Whitetail Ridge. It's overcast and spitting snow, and the mercury is sinking low. My feet feel like ice, but to me it's paradise. I ain't seen a thing all day long, but the wind's just right and the rudder's on. And it might be bitter cold, but all it takes is one hot dose. Up here on Whitetail Ridge, we know how to hunt, we know how to fish. We love our country, we love this land, and we're proud to be free. From the ground we plow, the stands we hang, we believe a man should pull his weight. We know what real hunting really is. Up on Whitetail Ridge. One nation under God, and united we all stand. From the cornfields of Meaderville, Mississippi and Alabama, and all
did not
across
get the heart.
this land.
I got lungs and liver.
We were taught to hunt and fish.
Sucking.
We all have a Whitetail Ridge. We love our country, we love
I
this
think I actually
land, and we're proud
missed the heart, but I hit the arteries that fed the heart.
ground we plow, the stands we hang, we believe a man should pull
That
his
and
weight.
some lungs.
We know what real
I
hunting
didn't go very far.
really is. Yeah, we know what real hunting really is. Up on Whitetail Ridge. Whitetail Ridge.
All right, so this stage is rinsing the meat. I rinse it. It also cools it down. I just see if I can do this without losing my water hose. I do this to cool the meat down before I ice it down. And sorry. Gets the temperature of the meat down before I put the ice on it. That way the ice doesn't melt away right away. It also rinses the meat. You can see some small particles of stuff flowing out. Any loose hairs will do the same thing. And before I am done with this, I'll let the water drain out, then I'll cover it all up in ice. Let it sit for a week. And I'll take it out and process it. The reason I leave it on ice for a week, it'll sit there and bleed out See, this rinses a lot of the little small particles out. But it lets it bleed out a little bit. Takes any kind of gaminess out of it, if there is any. Letting it sit on ice for a week before processing. Alright. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hey everybody, I hope y'all enjoyed the skinning part of this video with the music and all. That's the spike buck that I killed in the previous video. We're going to show you the processing of it into hamburger. Is how I do it anyway. I've already deboned the hamburger meat. I had put it in Ziploc bags. I knew it wasn't going to be in the freezer very long, and I froze it, and then I thawed it out this morning. Still really cold in there, some of it's partially frozen. Bought a brisket yesterday and threw it in the freezer last night, and it got partially frozen. Let it set out so it's real good and cold. I'm gonna cut the brisket up, and then we're gonna blend this. I'm gonna put the venison in and then the brisket in simultaneously, one after the other, so that it kind of mixes it as I grind it. And then I'll mix it by hand, and then I'll knead it together and re-grind it again. So let's get on with the cutting up of the brisket. Hey everybody, guess what? We got some pro staff members for Lake Creek Bottoms Outdoors. Just stepped in. I'm going to have them step in and say hi. Y'all come on in here. We're going to be getting some video footage of these guys this deer season, killing some massive bucks.
What's happening?
Is a crazy guy right here. All right, so I'm going to get back to cleaning this, getting this deer meat done, and we'll come back on the ground. Next clip. Hey, I've got the meat pulled back out of the freezer, and it's just frosted up. It's not frozen. It's got good stiff again. And we're going to turn this thing on and start grinding. We'll start out with a piece of brisket first, and then we'll go venison, then brisket, then venison, back and forth. It helps. It helps with the mix. As you can see, it's a good mix of venison and brisket there. So I'm not having to work as hard at the end trying to mix these meats. Do not over tighten the handle. This is like a cooling sock. You stick it in your freezer and it freezes, sort of like a ice pack type thing. You put it on the sleeve there. It helps keep the metal cold, which helps keep the meat cold. And here we go. We're going to start the second grind. Guess I ought to plug it in. This will be the final product. That is the final grind, and we're just gonna get it ready for the vacuum seal bags. Now, one thing I failed to mention earlier is when you're doing this way, I used a whole 10-pound brisket with about 15 pounds of or 12 pounds of deer meat. Now, I used the entire brisket, and so that's going to be a pretty fatty meat, not real super fatty, but it's not going to be super lean. The leaner you want it, the more fat you trim off your brisket. And what you can do is trim your brisket fat off your brisket. Sorry about that. The brisket fat off the brisket and bag it up and put in the freezer for the next deer. And then you could probably process a deer with just using the fat from a brisket. Or maybe if you get your third deer and you have fat from 2 different briskets, you can just do brisket fat only, not brisket meat plus brisket fat. I like the brisket meat in with it. It's pretty much almost a 50-50. 50% beef and beef fat and 50% deer. That's the way I like it. That's my preference. Not everybody likes that, and they're like, well, why are you doing that to your deer? Well, I still get the leanness of the deer meat in my hamburger. I still get those proteins that come with that deer meat in my hamburger. I still get the flavor of the venison in my hamburger, but I also get the flavor of beef, and I get the grease and the fat that holds the meat together, makes perfect hamburger patties. So that's why I do it. That's a proven method that I like. Not everybody would like it, but give it a shot if you want to try it. I bought a 10-pound brisket for like 30-something bucks, and put my deer meat in it, and I'm gonna have, I don't know how many pounds. I guess if you add all that up, that's 25 pounds or 22 pounds, something like that. It's quite a bit. These tubs are 20 inches round, 6 inches deep. So that's how much hamburger I got there. All right. That ends this session of making venison burger with brisket and venison. And that's the way Lake Creek Bottoms Outdoors does it. Until next time, see ya. Check out these bloopers. Measured these out to 1 pound a piece, a little bit over a pound. I'm going to vacuum seal them now. What I do from here, instead of freezing it into that 1 pound ball, I'll smash it out. I try to get to about a 1/2 inch thick. That way when you get ready to thaw it out, it doesn't take you very long to thaw it out. Those are pre-measured into 1 pound. 1 pound, 1 ounce, 1 pound, 2 ounce, 3 ounce, 4 ounces. A little bit varying. It's close. Get ready to thaw it out. It'll thaw out really quick. Got the pro staff members down here. We're looking at this scrape. And what I've been told is you got to pee in it, but not just one person. Everybody in the group has to pee on the scrape in order to make the deer think it's a whole herd of human deer. And then, oh, shit.
Take one.
Cut. Okay, we're back. We're back to the wild out. Cut. All right, we're at Lake Creek Bottom Outdoors. Hey, we found a new scrape on the food plot over here, the one that got flooded. All right, we are going to keep watching this to see if we can see what's coming in here. I think it's a good place for a game camera. So this is Lake Creek Bottom Outdoors pro staff members behind me. And I don't know how pro staff they are, but they're pro staff. They're my pro staff.
Pro with the tape.